Tools right now?
Yeah, yes, 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 yes. But we can start and then we can go and get them.
Yeah, but back to this we have to arrange because it's easy live broadcasting.
Yeah,
So what I do, I'll put that package over here, and then whatever you need, you'll put aside. Then immediately you can use.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Live शुरू हो गया?
I'll take.
Would this be required now, sir?
Yeah. I'll take this one and just some of these. It's okay.
Put it here.
Yeah, yeah. Shall we start? Okay. Good afternoon. So now we're getting into the tough stuff here, and we're going to play a little bit with. We're going to play a little bit with these circular and sustainable business models, but the thing is that if we just go directly into circular and sustainable, I think it'll get very chaotic, and we will not really understand what is going on. So I have to take you a little bit back to the basic on business models. And instead of starting off with some heavy theory, I will just explain you a little bit about how we came up with it. So if you imagine that we have studied this theory on business model, different frameworks for 5 years, and then, as I said, this Israeli PhD, he came up, he dared to say, I don't believe that the theory that is number one in the world is actually working. And then we started to do the business model cube that you have read for today. So, can I take this one as a water?
Sure.
Okay, sure. Because now it gets dry. Then I started to maybe many researchers they don't do it, but I felt very much that I needed to test if the theory, the models that we had innovated, if it actually works in real life. So what I did was I started to test the tools and the framework on the business model. And the first thing I did that was I set up a tent at a camping place where people usually go for tourism and so on. And then I asked 10 entrepreneurs, would you like to come in the tent for 3 days and test some new models we have innovated at universities? Today much of the universities, they keep their theory inside the university. It never comes out to the industry. And of course, you have to take a risk as a researcher because sometimes they find out, the practitioners, that this is really not going to work in practice. So what we did was we had these entrepreneurs in a tent, and then we started to show them what I have told you here, that the business model has 7 dimensions and so on. So then I met this lady. And this lady, after the course, after the 3 days, she came up, she said to me, I was standing here with my colleague, she said, would you allow me to translate your nice theory into something that normal people can understand? Can you imagine you say that to a researcher? And immediately my colleague, he said, no, you cannot do that. You're not allowed to it. And I said, let me think about it. Let me think about it. And then after a day, I thought, why not try that out? Why not have an expert on translating public school material into something that school kids can actually learn from? And then she worked with this. So it's all of what I'm showing here is actually something that she has tried to do. And that formed actually one of my first businesses. No, sorry, it was actually my third business, because and this was called the bee business. And I'm not going to tell a long story about it, but it turned out that she changed completely the very heavy theory stuff into all these tools here. And I know these are in Danish, sorry about that, but there are some books here. But the first one was, what are we actually doing? What are we doing? So, and then she went and did the second one, which was actually on the B star, and the B star, which we are not going today to work with because it's a little bit more tough. It looks simple. It actually has the 6 dimensions and the relation in the middle. So you have here the value proposition. And opposite to that, you have the customer. So actually now I'm proposing you a course on circular and sustainable business model. And you are my user and customers. So they are opposite each other. Does it give sense? So it's a normal business situation. I come out, I present something, and I'm a sales person. I want to sell some circular, sustainable business models, and then you are the customer. Then, if I have to do that, I'm successfully, I need to carry out some value chain functions. So here you have precisely a translation of Michael Porter's value chain model, where he talks about primary and secondary functions. Opposite to this, you have the competences. So the competences here is existing of technology, human resource, organization system, and culture. Why is this? Because at Howard University, Prahala and Hamel, they taught us that this is exactly the four in the competence. So if you don't have anything to do Monday morning, no, you can't do that because you have to go to courses and so on. Then you read the famous book of Prahala and Hamel. Then what we saw in 1980s and up in the 2000s was that more and more businesses, they actually went into network and network partners to carry out the functions, the value chain function, because they did not want to do it themselves, so they outsource it. And then, of course, you have also a calculation. That's the value formula. And this is the money side, and this is other values. Does it give sense? So you have six dimensions in a business model. And then in the middle, these will not function, neither in a circular and sustainable business model if they are not connected to each other, if they are not connected with relations. The relations actually transfer all the values through inside the business model. So if you, for example, do not remember what I just told in 5 minutes, then you just turn it around. And if you, for example, have, let's say you have the user and customers, you just have the questions here that you have to ask yourself and your business that you are investigating. What are your customers? What are your users? Uh, and if you are on the business to business or are you in business to consumer. So every dimension, value chain function is the same. So my students, they have this with them when they go for interviewing the businesses. They note it down very quickly, precisely on the different dimensions. So it means that you have, when you go from the business, you should actually have information around. And then some businesses, they don't want to tell what is the value formula. They want to keep it secret. Then I never start with that. Maybe I start with some of the other dimensions, but actually I can do wherever I want. The only thing is I try to chase them around. So this is exactly the same way I do when I investigate circular and sustainable business models. Do you get my point? Okay. And the thing is that if one of these dimensions are missing, then the business model will never pump. It will never come live. So, and we have tested this. So we know that, and we are inviting everybody to break it if they can. So we have tested this in, I think maybe now it's coming up between 900 and 1,000 businesses. And why is it not a larger amount? This is because when we go into this, we go deep. So it takes an enormous amount of time to understand what this is about. So to have this understanding, we have innovated some rooms. Now here you can see inside such a room, we call it the Business Model Innovation Lab. So if you imagine you have this on the table, and unfortunately, I'm not able to bring 5 or 10 tables from Delhi to Silka here. So we have some stickers over here, and we will try to use it. But we also have some boards here. I'll come back to that. So the thing is actually that you have tables here, and then around you have a room like a hexagon room, 5 times 5 meter. No, so, yeah, I think it is around there. I'll show you. And there inside this, it's like a cave where you go in and then you place persons around. For example, it could be a management group, it could be a research group that are looking into some specific thing, and then you put different things on the table. So I hope I give you a kind of a glimpse of what we are doing here. So because what we've realized is that many work processes on circular and sustainable business models are done in places where it's not actually good. It's in a hotel. You don't actually here you don't. We sit in rows, but what we actually really have to do is to work and move and so on. So it's and we have to be in dialogue when we are doing it. So no wonder that business models are often bad or not so good when they should go to market, because you don't really have the factory, so to say, where you could you can do it. I told you about Green Lab. At that time, we didn't have these lab, so we did it in a hotel. So you can see here, I'm standing here with one of the largest businesses that now is established in this Green Lab, and he is telling me what actually he's not telling me. I'm telling him that when I met you, I interviewed you, I downloaded all your business models to this board here. Then I think your business looks like this. Do you agree on it? So he told I placed his business models around the board here, and I said to him honestly, you have 2 in innovation, 1 is in conceptualization, 1 is prototyping, very close to implementation, and then you have 3 business models over here that you are losing money on. They are in the red zone, and 1 that is dead. Do you agree on that? Can you imagine when you show this to a CEO or some men, they and they say, no, it's not right. This one is here, this one is up here, and so on. Okay, that's fine. Let's see the numbers. No, I don't know really. So it's the same question I ask when I investigate on circular and sustainable and green business models. Which of the business models are green? And then they show a picture. And sometimes they show a picture that they like to see. But that we cannot use in business modeling. We need really to have the truth. So when I start these processes with businesses, I always kind of say to them before we start, do you really want to see the picture? Are you sure? And when they say yes, okay, sign a contract, and then we start. So that's why I was talking about this greenwashing, because many businesses, they tell that they are green. They even promote it. They so and so and so. But then if we go dig deep into the business, we find out that actually the truth is a little bit different. So you've seen 2 tools here. And if you can imagine that you have the business model here, it can either be a to-be business model, which is on the way, or it can be an as-is business model. Then you kind of take it over here, you diminish it, something into this, and then smaller again, and then you put it in here. No, this one is actually inspired by basketball. Because you know, when the teams come out and they have a timeout, then the trainer, he sits here. So the supervisor can actually, you know, say, okay, this one we go up here, this one we go up here, and so on. But we have actually the big ones, which I could not bring from Delhi either. But that will be in the rooms, in the labs, in here. And here you see the table. And then when we discuss circular and sustainable business model, you can see that there are 6 seats here. And one of them are for the supervisor. It's nearly always green. Now we have to think about if it should continue to be green, because maybe a circular and sustainable business model looks different. I don't know. But we have it here, or we have head of innovation of the largest dairy business in Europe coming up with a challenge, put it on the table, and then the students, they have to work for 3-4 days to find out the solution, and so on. That's how we work. And it started in 2014, 15. And then it started with 3, you could say, labs, and then it evolved to 26. So it has a tremendous power, because the students, they get real business cases, flesh and blood, and they come out to the businesses, they walk around, and then we train them, of course, on how you should observe and you should ask and all these kind of things. So we train them how to find all the components and dimensions and the business model in the business. And actually the business, they like it, because as one of them was saying, I like to have students out here because they put some questions I would never have dreamed about. They challenge me. So it's a kind of, you know, if I go back to this one here, you have the students, student giving some value proposition in relation that they would like to work with this, and then you have the business, and they come to talk together. And what we see is that a lot of the students, they actually get jobs in the industry, because the industries, they look and find. So here is the lab, and then this lab here, when we work with the green and the circular and the sustainable business model, the students are in here, and all exams are not done in boring big rooms. The students have to come with their solutions inside here, and they own the cube, and all sides they use. So they can show the customer, they can show the users on one side, they can show the value formula, they can show whatever they like. It's their room. So we have advanced this even more. So we have played with a lot of technology. This is old, it's back from 2017. And here you can see some working on green business model on biogas. And what they actually want to do is they want to build a whole new platform for biogas knowledge. And then they are setting it up and finding out if, and it was a Nordic project. Here you see some students out of 10. This was the winners, working with a business model for a small business called Calibo. It's actually having 60% of market share of chocolate in Europe. And they strategically felt that they could not come to have more market share. It would be too expensive. So say, why not find out some different way we can sell our chocolate on? So this is how we work. And the fundamental of this is, again, as I said before, before you go to your case for this afternoon. That is that business composed of many business models. Uh, and the B board, this one here, just gives an overview of business models that you think the business have. So when I give you the case to work with, then it's the meaning is actually firstly map down. That is the downloading we talked about this morning. Download what kind of business model do you think is in the business model. It's wrong to say see. What can you with the small information that you have got. Once you've done that, we go to the green, the sustainable, and the circular. So, but forget about that initially. Start with just downloading what you think exists of business models, and then try to use the different tools here, and then in the process, when you work in the process, use the bubbles. When you come up with not an idea, with a bubble, place it, and unfortunately we are not able here to show this one. So I think if you draw it up by some markers, then you will be able to use these over here, and then you just place the bubbles and all the others into it. So right side is business model that you think is operating. Left side is in innovation. Bubbles, they're out here. Okay? And then and it's still, it's what you imagine. It's what you imagine. So also try to think about, do you think the business is losing money, or is it earning money on it? And then you might say, okay, but it's still over on this left side. How can you earn money on a business model? But you can actually earn on an innovation. You don't necessarily have to pay out of your pocket. It can be done in many places, but we will come back to that one. So I thought actually, and when I'll just give a little bit more information, and then we will start on that process. So another thing just around this is that if I have decided that I want to make circular and sustainable business models, then we could sit here very nice and get hundreds of bubbles. We could get 2 ideas taken out of the bubbles, but who looks after that they actually move to the ecosystem? We could have some nice talk, we could spend a lot of money, we could drink a lot of good coffee, if we have that. But the challenge is here, does it really come into operation? And how does it work when it comes in here? Does it go immediately in loss, or does it come up here? So there's a whole system around it to measure the performance. And also with all the electronics that we have embedded in the labs, we are actually able to find the persons that comes up with the most brilliant bubbles, but they never give a business. We can also find those that can actually give the breakthrough and make it great. And this is where we have the psychologists involved. Because they can actually help us to analyze and find out. And some of those who are working in it, they come up with very brilliant ideas and bubbles and so on, but it's not going to work. So this is what you can do. Of course, you need GDPR, and I don't know what else you need to security around it, but we can do it. And that's because we have installed um, up in the labs here in Invisible, we have tracking and sensing systems. We can actually measure down to the individual. So when we run the process, we can actually see, oh, he's a little bit overheated. He needs some water. Or over here, oh, she needs some chocolate. So this is what we are working with, and this we would really like if you also would like to do that. We would like to do some experiment at your university, because still, you know, business model innovation is done very simple today. Uh, Very simple with old theory, old things that were invented back in 1970s, and we have to step up on this. Um, yeah.
Any WP headset, or how you track basically, how you detect the motions?
How we track it in the cubes?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we have some very brilliant engineer and researchers that have invented some sensors that can actually do this. How it's done, I don't know, but I have seen it many times. And we have the big trouble, challenge for us is to analyze the data. But maybe we can have some help here on big data analysis, because this is really something that gives a lot of data, and you have to plan in before. Okay. Um, So if you can draw this up over here, and sorry, I have actually some stickers, but they don't to the boards. They're too large, so I think we will do it with some drawing. And the reason why I would like to start physically is that we always start physically, but we have digital version of it. And I will show it also to you, but not today, uh, because it seems as if the understanding gets much deeper when you get it in your hands. And there's something funny with when you have this bubble and so in your hands, it does something to it. It's also with the colors, you see, it's very colorful. So the first time we presented it for the researchers in the university, they said, no, 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 models cannot look like that in research. But I said, but it's very funny because sometimes when I come to India, they like colors. Especially the ladies, they go in colorful socks. Am I right? That's why I. So it's really, it seems as if you get happy, and that's exactly what we want. We want people to be happy, because if they are depressed, then they will go in negative spiral, and they will not release their full potential. So this is what we would really like. And no business model bubble is stupid. Not in the first phase. Maybe a little bit later if we lose on it. I'm on a track right now here in India. You saw that in the morning. I'm going to establish a business in Delhi, in India, in fortnight. And I do not know if this will succeed. But that's what entrepreneurship is about. It's about taking risk. We'll come back to that, because if you go into this, if you want to be an entrepreneur and you don't like risk, that's a bad cocktail. That's a very bad cocktail. You must take some risk sometime. Um, I just wanted to say again, I'll come back to this B star. We'll go a little bit deeper on that, But firstly, I wanted just to have you to work with the B board because I feel like it's a little bit easier. Okay, and yeah, I think I have said you have the business here, and it has a multitude of business models. So I think that concept I think you have got already. Uh, yes. Okay. Then it's important that you have some paper and pen, and then we will divide you into groups. And I was ordered not to put the people that know each other in groups.
Because if you allow them to make a group, they will take a lot of time.
Okay.
Because
So-
everyone wants to be in their peers.
And we have 2, 4, 6, 7. So we have 7 boards.
Yeah, we have 7.
Okay, so that's 7 groups, maybe.
So you can divide yourself in 7 groups and then you can start.
Or shall I count?
Yeah, you can also divide.
Let me see. I have a feeling that 6 groups is enough. But
I think they are how many? 40, 41. 6 groups are probably fine.
fine with 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. What number did you have? Okay, and we said 1, 2. Okay, and then 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. And are you also involved? 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. So all the 6 down there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, okay.
So basically they have to stand or
Yeah, it's very good that we do some exercise and dancing. I've been dancing here in India. I like it very much. Okay, and the first case, you see, what I'm trying to do firstly is I'm just make a simple exercise, and then we will screw up the speed and so on. And we start with a business and a story that I have myself personally experienced. And we have an airplane, a Ryanair. I don't know if you know it, but it's one of the largest businesses in flying passengers all around the world, and it has gone like this because it actually focused on having cheap tickets, and then do some business models around. So now you can see the multi-business model thing. And what they did was they disrupted actually the whole ecosystem, because those old businesses, they couldn't follow them in the first time. They didn't get what they were doing. And also, although they had a lot of high-paid or expensive employees, they had read the old books, and they had not understood what they were really doing here. So they got into bad shape, the old businesses. So it's Ryanair, and are you ready? Shall we go in the groups immediately to sit together? Are you okay with that? Yeah. So if you start to all the ones goes over here, 2, 3, 4. So you sit together when you note. Is that okay? Then I can have some water break. So you group as you are numbered. Okay? You can also wait. You can also wait with the mapping it on the boards. We can wait with that. I can tell the story first, and then you can take the notes if you like that. Yeah.
You can come in your group.
I don't know if it's allowed to do this breaking up in classes in India. We can do that. Yeah. Yeah. 3 minutes. Okay.
Please come faster. We are on live. Please faster. Yes, you also. Everybody is on live.
I have destroyed the whole. They will withdraw. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And okay, are we ready? But you can also sit here. That's fine. That's fine. Then you can see what is on the screen. I'm going to show something on the screen. Yes. Uh,
Can you do this one or last one?
okay. Yeah.
Okay, stand beside your whiteboard, please. In a group. This one is also free. Yeah. 5 of them you can come. अरे आ जाओ इधर आ जाओ भाई इधर आ जाओ ये वाला सेकंड वाला
Okay, let's start. The ladies down here, they might have a difficulty to see. Shall we move that just a little bit sideways because I'm going to show something on the yeah.
In the meantime, you can come back side. To see.
Okay, I had damaged the whole course. Okay, so in 2017, I was sent to Italy to study business model at a hospital. So I had to go to Italy, and then I rented an apartment, and then we lived in a very nice place in Italy, outside of Rome, where the Romans they really go when they want to have very nice food. It's called a small city called Frascati. You should really go there. There are many places in Italy that's nice. We can talk about that. But the thing was, I was living in Frascati. I had to go up to my research center in Aarhus University and be there for a fortnight and come back again. And now you have to make the notes because every time you see a business model, you have to note it down because this has to come up here. Okay? So what we talked about was that any product, any service, any process you see is a business model. So anything you see. So now the story starts. So I go on to the internet from my apartment in Frascati, and then I find Ryanair, and Ryanair has a ticket where I can fly from Italy to Aarhus and return for 2 euros, which is equivalent to how much? You have the calculator. Yeah, it's cheap. Yes. So, and please note down also the price because you will have to use that very soon in this B board, and because you have to find out where does the business model actually belong to, in the green or the red zones. Is it operating or is not operating? Do you get my point? Okay. So then I ordered a ticket, and then I had to have a taxi also. And at the Ryanair website, there was actually possibility to also book a taxi. So I booked a taxi for what was equivalent to 30 euros. Then in the morning, the taxi came 5 o'clock. It took me up and took to the nice airport called Ciampino, most secure airport in Italy. Even the president and the prime minister, they will fly out of there because it's a military thing. And Ryanair has a deal with them so that they can. When I come up to the desk to check in, the lady, she asked me, "Do you have your boarding pass?" No, boarding pass. Yes, yes, but I have this paper here. No, no, no. You have to have a real boarding pass. I don't have. Okay, but that's fine. Then you should just go walk down here a little bit down, and then we have some service here. I come down, I go in, and then the lady, she smiles and she says, "Yes, we can print it out. It costs 42 euros." I said, "What?" But yes, but the fly is going very soon, so I paid the 42 euros. I go back to the desk. The lady smiles again, and then she checks me in. I go then to the security, go through the security, and then I come to the gate and want to go out to to the airplane. Then she sees my small baggage. And she says, "Oh, sorry, you have to take this small bag and put it into this thing here, and then it will measure if it's too large." Unfortunately, it's too large, so we can't take it, except if you pay another 30 euros. Okay? and 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 then she says, "Okay, then everything is fine." We walk up to the flight. We go up. We have our seats. I can see that there is one person that has paid an extra 10 euros to get extra. And then, when I was sitting down, I thought really this was really a very hard experience. And then she said, "Okay, take off for Billund up here. Lego. That's the headquarter of Lego." And then there was a nice lady when we were up in the air that started to serve coffee. It was 5 euros. Then I thought I needed some to eat. So they had a small pizza. That was another 10 euros. Then I thought this is getting very, very critical. So I thought, why not try to also have a whiskey? So that was another 10 euro. And then I started to think about, I have ordered a car when I come to Billund. And that car I ordered through Ryanair. And it was actually not so expensive because it was 300 euros for having the car for a fortnight. So then we were flying. Then suddenly another lady comes with perfume. Oh, my wife, she has very soon a birthday, so I have forgotten a gift. So I asked her for some nice perfume, and that was another 15 euros. And then we were close to Billund. Then they said, okay, we have a lottery. If you pay 7 euros, it's a discount from 10 to 7. You will have 10 tickets in the lottery, and you can win a whole new car or 1 million euros. Then we landed. I came to the fortnight and come back again, and the same, as you can imagine, happened all the way, except I have not forgotten the boarding pass. Okay, so now you have to just replicate all the way back. The taxi was another 30 euros again, and then I didn't take a whiskey. I took a gin tonic instead. Same price. Okay, so with all these business models, I would like you to put them on the board. Draw a board that looks pretty much like this. If you get any kind of bubbles, then it could be, for example, something you think could be good for them. You draw them up and put them in the bubble there. Okay, I forgot one thing, because when I was reading my newspaper, I saw that Ryanair actually were trying to work with an idea, and that was that people should pay to go for the washroom. And they were thinking about having it costing about 10 euros. So if you were in deep trouble, you should really have this one. Okay, then no more information. Quick and dirty, up, put it on here, and then see what the result will be in.
So we can end this session.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Fine. But you, if you want to work with it right now, you can do. Yes. Okay. Maybe you can show the B-board. Maybe you could see the B-board so they have inspiration for drawing. Yeah. It was in the same slide deck. Yeah. 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 And then it's a little bit up.
So आपको पता लग गया क्या करना है या नहीं लगा है? नहीं लगा है तो सर से दोबारा पूछ सकते हैं हम लोग. After 5 minutes we'll go again right on that last session. You can ask sir again, Mr. Peter, if you are in a problem at what to do, right? So this screen, you need to see this screen.
Yeah.
You can push this board.
Yeah. Or you need to show this. I was just going to show them the B-boards.
Yeah.
Sir, can we see the blue board?
Yeah, certainly. And you will also come up here.
अभी तक किया नहीं.